first Ashes tour for Harry Brook. How's he going to get on?
Great question. Really great question. I think a lot of it depends on how they decide to treat Harry Brook. And I mean the players, I mean the media. I think so much about Harry Brook's game and Harry Brook's personality is a target for the kind of aggression, the kind of focus that Australians love giving players, especially when they want to unsettle them. And I don't think Brook is good at dealing with that. I think history suggests that, even though it's a relatively short sample size with Brook. And for that reason, I think the captaincy this summer has been a huge boost for him because he's been a bit more in the sights of, I suppose, the results of a team, maybe us in the media as well. Even though the tests during the summer with India have shifted the focus away from the white ball stuff. But he's had a really important job there, and he's clearly had to think a bit more about, I suppose, everything beyond batting, really. And so because of that, I think if he's now used to dealing with all the trappings that come with being a cricketer that has a lot on his plate beyond his day job, then maybe he'll be able to work that out and it wouldn't necessarily be a problem. I do think that is going to be something very unique to him because he didn't tour in India at the start of 2024, which I think would have been the first time he's really got a taste of that. Because he did really well in the 23 Ashes, I thought, despite the fact that he didn't score 100, but he essentially wins him the game at Headingley. It was a really important half-century at the Oval as well. And I feel like that was the first time that Australia had really seen him, and probably would have made a note in their book to be like, right, basically, let's see this guy in 18 months and let's prepare for that.
Yeah, I think that is it's interesting. You obviously mentioned him missing that India tour for personal reasons, but I think that is the really intriguing thing about this series from Brook's perspective is he has this amazing record overseas. He's averaging 80. He's already got 700s away from home for England, which is incredible at the stage of his career he's at. But there's a huge asterisk next to all of that because that's only happened in two countries, Pakistan and New Zealand. Kind of one of those weird quirks of the schedule where he's ended up, effectively on the same tours 2 winters apart. And clearly, I think most England players, most England fans would consider India and Australia to be the two biggest tests for any England batter. He's yet to play a test in either of them. So it's this great unknown, really, of someone who's been so good everywhere else. There's no sort of obvious reason as to why he shouldn't work for him in Australia. But yeah, I mean, there's a real curiosity. I think it's probably reading far too much into it to think of it at all. But he has a really bad record in Australia from his very, very limited sample in T20. So he had a terrible Big Bash in, I think, 21, 22, actually, when he averaged 6. And then he really didn't do much at the T20 World Cup as well at the following winter, even though England won it. I think it's probably a random thing. The fact that he was a young player, the fact he was in his early 20s and, probably didn't have the best set of conditions, for example, in the World Cup where it was, ball was moving all over the place. He didn't bat very much. But I do think that's just an interesting little nugget that or the sort of thing that a player might have at the back of their mind heading into a series like this is you go to surroundings that are familiar to you and not necessarily for the best reasons.
Yeah. I'm going to throw something back at you. Did Harry Brook have a good India series in the summer just gone?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
yeah, he did. Like, objectively, he did. 481 runs, 53.44, strike rate of 81, by the way.
Yeah, unbelievable.
200s, 250s.
I mean, the 100 at the
50
Oval
includes a 99 as well.
And the 100 at the Oval was, I mean, because of the fact England didn't get over the line, probably didn't quite get the plaudits or the praise it could have. There was still the sort of classic traditionalist England view at the end coming out where people were criticising him for getting caught playing the shot that, he played all day and scored a better than a run of ball 100.
Having you got him for going for a 17th boundary. Yeah.
But yeah, I think he was. I mean, it was sort of classic Brook, that whole series, in that you were on the edge of your seat the whole time, thinking he's about to do something stupid, and yet he comes out with an incredible set of numbers like that. There are obviously some lucky escapes in there. There was the moment at Headingley where he was caught off Bumrah's front foot no ball right at the end of one of the first days of the series. But yeah, I think he did, and I think that's about as relevant a test as there can be, particularly on the back of the 23 Ashes having averaged 40 odd, I think, in that series.
Yeah, 100%. And the reason I asked you that is because I wanted your I think so answer. Because I think it speaks to the fact that we think so much of Harry Brook. And that's not just an English thing. I think a lot of people rate him very highly. But there has always been a sense of wanting a bit more. And obviously, if he goes anywhere near replicating those numbers in the winter, that's a brilliant series outright. But I suppose it might not be this particular Ashes series, but there is still that sense of waiting for him to really take a series by the scruff of its neck.
Yeah.
And actually, in 5-test series, players rarely do that because it's so difficult and it's so long. And over there, as we mentioned before, it's so hot.
Yeah.
It is going to take such a big physical toll on him. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be fascinating. I cannot wait, actually. I think that will be the biggest on-field battle. You know, take Stokes and whoever else has read. I think Brook and what they throw his way on and off the field is gonna be huge. Whether or not it decides the Ashes, you know, we can have this conversation mid-January, but I think he's going to play a huge part.
Do you think they'll test him pretty well against a short ball? Because obviously, I suppose a pool that flies into the first row of the stands in England might be caught at 10 yards off the boundary at the MCG.
Yeah, but and then I suppose he's going to play a different game anyway. I was going to say have to, but he'll do it by choice, wouldn't he? Because he's very fit. He loves running twos, like almost to a fault, really. Like, chill out for a bit. Just, you know, just save your legs. But as you say, like, you know, he's not, you know, a low IQ player. He's not just going to think, oh, you know, pull shot, Brook go bang. You know. He's going to rotate the field. It'd be interesting to see how he marries all that. But I just to go back to your first point there, I 100% think he's going to be kind of, you know, smothered in the short ball, and it's just about how he chooses to do it. Because, as you say, because of the dimensions out there, it's not going to go away with a couple of boundaries. You know, a couple of really impressive pull shots. They're just going to keep going at him.
Just to end, I think he'll have a little prediction for you. I think he'll have a really good head-to-head with Lyon. I think he'll get after him a couple of times, and I think Lyon will get him a few times. I think that'll become a little narrative as the series goes on.